shining for the homeless population. Well, Baltimore, y'all need to hear it from their voices. Y'all need to hear how they feel like the programs out here are working for them. You know, we went down to the Board of Estimate meeting this morning, and it's so interesting because this week, in spite of last week, the $3.7 million that was interrupted and mismanaged. I try to think of a lot of words like interrupted, right, mismanaged, tucked away, inappropriately. You know, I just don't want to use the S word. You know, they didn't say that. So, well, these individuals are here, family, and they want to be able to let Baltimore City hear their sides of the story, because when you look at these programs and the way they're set up, they're not working for the homeless population. You're talking a lot of money. You're talking $36,000, $100,000. This type of money that these organizations is approved for to be receiving, it don't even take that much to take care of these individuals. And I say that because today, you know, I have limited space, guys, but I got a big heart. And not funded by Baltimore City at all. But if I got a couch, a chair, a bed, it wouldn't have to be on the health care to homeless for you guys. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves, let the listeners hear, you know, where you stay, where you lay, and how is it for you out here on the streets of Baltimore being a part of this system. So I'm going to let number one start. And, you know, listeners, again, 410-481-1010. You call in and get the facts straight from them, Baltimore, because it's time to not listen and know the facts. And this is what they need. They need our voices. They need our decision-making ability to call what we need to call, to talk to who we need to talk to, use your resources, your friends, your buddies, because, again, these individuals need a voice so they can be heard and get the dignity and the pride back in their life that they should have, just like any of us. So definitely, guests, introduce yourself, and you guys can take over.
Good morning. My name is Victor Williams, and I'm currently homeless. Most of all, I'd like to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for allowing me to be here today. For those that's out there listening, it's not easy out there on the streets, man. If you don't know, whoever is out there that's listening, and when you call in for your comments, you call in for us to answer your questions or what have you. If you don't understand what I'm about ready to tell you, how about just packing up a sleeping bag or whatever you can grab and come out to 401 Healthcare for the Homeless on Falls and Helen Road, and stay out there for a matter of, if not overnight, for a couple of days, and you will see some nightmares that take place all through the night, all through the evening, especially at closing time when they close up at 4 and leave about 6. It is not good out there, ladies and gentlemen. The things I have seen, the things that I have been through, me myself have been robbed and beaten out there on that front. And they say the cameras catch it, but the cameras don't catch it all, man. You know, there's no security sitting at that desk because everybody leaves. And they say that they trying to improve and make things better, but I can't tell. You see, because it's very, very dangerous, you know, doing this thing, man. Little did I know I would become this way, but unfortunately, it happened. And I'm doing things to get better with oneself. You know, the services at Healthcare for the Homeless, they are not great at all. We have this lady by the name of Miss Flower. She comes around and feed us and see if we okay. And I remember her saying the other week ago, back when it snowed, she said, they're not going to do nothing much for you out here. And it's like that they don't know, because they do know. You know, they take the money and stuff. I don't know what they do with it. Well, I guess they probably go on expensive trips and things and other like that. That's strongly possible. Because I understand through a good friend of mine that's sitting across from me, named Larry. He was telling me about some things, and he was surprised that I have heard of him. But I did. I didn't know what had happened after a while, but when he come up on the front and he was telling me about this lady named Miss Flowers, I didn't believe anything another like this even existed. And he said, "Look, man, give it a chance." And when I seen through God's grace and mercy, him in action as helping some people, to come from off of that front and to do things better or to help themselves. When he come back this morning and he asked me, he said, "Excuse me, my friend, did anybody bring the information?" I said, "No, man." I said, "But I'm willing to act right now." And what ended up happening in the course of this morning was that he told us, he said, "Go to City Hall." He called this lady, and this lady talked over the phone and said, "Go to City Hall. We'll see what we can do for you." And I thank God for this lady, because she didn't see me out there in the snow, in the cold, all night long, getting up, walking back and forth, and trying to keep eye out on other people, because the females up there, whether they black, white, Chinese, or what have you, they done been threatened, they done tried to rape them, they go up there, they take their clothes, they steal your crop. I mean, it's out there, man. And it's no joke.
One of the things, and Victor, while you're speaking, and definitely callers, do call in for 10481-1010. You think about the safety for the women, and you're not the first one that told me that, because, numerous individuals that I've moved from that corridor, they always tell a story about how people sit and sleep on the healthcare to homeless steps because it's more lighting up there. They figure it's more safer. Like, I know one lady that's been there. Like, she'll talk to me, she'll come, but she had this fear when you're speaking of moving off of those steps. So it's come to our attention also, listeners, that it's been a lot of gang activity dealing with 420 Falls Way. Women being attacked, people getting beat up for their money and their little checks. So this has come to our attention also this week. Not only are you guys dealing with the issues of life and being homeless, now you're preyed upon because people coming out and knowing that y'all like victims. So again, it comes to the point of really being able to keep y'all voice out there, asking my listeners also to email Jack Young and email our mayor, because again, this situation has to get resolved, and it has to start with us. When I say pastors, bishops, churchgoers, all individuals that's listening, it has to start being a solution, because just like I say every week, I'm only one person. I have limited space, but I have a big heart. And the space that I have, I do plan to make it available to you guys, because again, it doesn't do you guys no hope to know that you're in a place where people do not generally reach out and help you guys. So definitely know that, in the same way I think that I'm empowering people, I want to empower you, because as I help you, just like with any of them, I say, y'all got to go back down there and help others. Y'all got to give them some hope and let them know, hey, we got a voice. Like I told you this morning, I was going to City Hall. Come to City Hall. Come to where people can hear y'all voices at, because they figure if y'all over there, y'all sleeping on the ground, y'all sleeping in the tents, and I understand that corridor is like a safety net. You got healthcare to homeless, you got Cold Blue, you got Our Daily Bread. So you got to stay close to where you can get any type of services from. So, but the one thing that the biggest tool for me is being able to empower you guys, empowering y'all to prepare to vote. Y'all gotta come together and be able to vote for something different that's going on. But if people don't feel like y'all can do that, that's one of the biggest things that I'm noticing, that, our leadership, our council people, they walk around like y'all don't exist. But my saying, I say y'all homeless, not invisible. I get that from Kenny, and he says it all the time. But definitely know, like, this here is something that we have to make a movement on, and be consistent with it. So I'm going to let our next gentleman here. I'm going to let you introduce yourself. That was Mr. Victor Williams. Listeners, again, call in 410-481-1010. These are individuals who actually sleep on the 420 corridor. They sleep on healthcare to homeless steps. And this is a factual show today. It's real life, live here on 1010 a.m. So definitely hear their stories. So again, we can have a solution. We can think of things as the real. One of the things I did, guys, I created a network. It's called the Real Care Providers. We don't want to be service providers. The service providers are the ones who get a lot of money. When you look at the list, I don't know if y'all ever get to look at it, but I'll print it off for you. Like, it's money in this city that goes to servicing the homeless people. This is your money. This is money that Obama, the government, that comes in, and it's for your care. But unfortunately, sometimes things don't go the way it should go. So we're going to let our next guest introduce himself and just give us a little. And these guys got wisdom here, folks. Like, I ain't got no young, but there's some wisdom up here. Yeah, you good.
Good afternoon. My name is Arnold T. Williams. I'm current homeless, but I can understand what she's saying because, I mean, it's no joke sleeping on concrete or being out there in the cold. I mean, I've been homeless like 4, 5 months, and I don't like it. I sleep in a shelter. I want something that I can have for myself and be more responsible for myself. Okay, I'm currently pending my Social Security pending, but I hope to be getting that pretty soon. But you know, I thank God for Miss Flowers because she gave me information to better myself. You know, because it's no life sleeping on the concrete or under the bridge or sleeping in the shelter where you got a bunch of 100-some men sleeping in the day room watching TV all day long. They don't want to do nothing for themselves. So I'm a type of individual. I don't want to be down. I want to try to lift myself up and be a productive citizen in Baltimore City. So please call in if you have any questions. I appreciate the answer. Thank you.
One of the biggest thing, thanks for speaking, Mr. Arnold. Again, you know, you speak about the shelter. Shelter is not home.
No, it's not. It's
you
not
know,
home.
something about our city mentality, like to say, only because when last year the 12 that was on I-83 that we moved, they was 10 feet away from the shelter. So one of our biggest questions was, why y'all guys don't go to the shelter? And everybody have a legitimate reason. I mean, when I say legitimate, the women felt like they was harassed by staff. They had to sell their food stamps to people. Like, they have stories down. It needs to be it's like a Blue Jack City movie going on down this corridor. Like the things that, you know, that I've heard that you guys have been subjected to. These people literally chose to live under a bridge on I-83 for 5 years instead of going over into the shelter. You know, and I know y'all seen the spot, you know, and again, March the 7th is Friday, and we're going to be doing something in that spot at 10 a.m. because, again, it's been a year. And I think 2 more people is over there in that same spot, you know, and it's like somewhere along the way, like this corridor is like a jailhouse. Like, it keeps y'all right there. You know, I think we was riding down today and noticed that some people just done moved further up. Like, they're not definitely right there in the corridor, but they done started creating their own little spaces to be able to have housing at. So again, you know, and the one thing with my organization, I'm self-funded. I'm not funded by Baltimore City. So I say that because I have to empower you guys to be able to go out there and make a difference. Like helping me, help you to help us. Because as many people as you know down there, and my resources is limited, we got to use other resources, but I'm willing to use what I have. And that's what's important. And that's the thing that I talk to a lot of my listeners about. Like, don't wait till something happen to you. Use what you have. Like today, we're going to need some beds. We're going to have to find some dressers. We're going to figure out something so y'all ain't got to sleep on the healthcare to homeless steps tonight. And that's to me is what ending homelessness is about. Like, I don't know what the city great plan is, or if they got a warrant, or, you know, last week they mismanaged $3.7 million. Did any of you know that? $3.7 million has been mismanaged. Oh, it's probably, well, hey, we going, it started as 9.5 million, but maybe somebody called in a few favors or something, I don't know. But whatever it is, it was money that could have avoided you guys from being on the steps. And that's where the lack of accountability at. It's like you raise your kids, y'all do something wrong, you get the consequences. You know, this city has done something wrong to you guys. That $3.7 million would eliminate you guys from being on the street. So we'll see what the outcome of that is, because it definitely needs to be some discipline. So, you know, shelter's not a home.
No, I know.
You know, if it has to be, I'm feeling like, look, some of the stories that come out of these shelters is horrible. Like, again, I know JHR was moved from the Cold Blue shelter. I don't know if Catholic Charities taking over has been any better, because I'm pretty sure, you know, they say birds of a feather flock together. When you're dealing with all these close-knit relationships, they flock together. So nobody really hear what the true facts is. But that's why you guys are here today, to put it out there, and you can come back again. This is your airway, too, you know. The third, you could definitely introduce yourself, yes?
Yes, my name is Tab Jackson, and I've been homeless now for a couple months, but like just like Miss Flower, she was saying, like, these shelters, they not no place for a person to be. I've been trying my best to get out of them ever since I've been here, but it's been a little hard. But I think Miss Flower, she like an angel that appeared to us today to give us some help to get about this type of predicament that we are in. But most of these shelters, it is ran like a penitentiary, because you can go to a shelter and you might be in church and you might have been up all day because they put you out 6:30 in the morning, and you got to sit up in the church like this church. I mean, like this mission on Central Avenue. It's supposed to be a Christian mission, but it's not, because if you fall asleep, they'll put you out. Even if you yawn real hard, they'll put you out. So I advise people to never fall into the same predicament that I'm in, because it's not a life to be in. It's not a place to live. It is horrible, and they do terrible things to you.
Wow. One thing, Mr. Jackson, and that's definitely, and again, I like to keep my callers on point. What we're doing here today with Real Talk Baltimore, I have some guests in the building that come off of the 420 corridor, and my biggest goal is really bringing some exposure to this corridor, because there's too much money in Baltimore City for these individuals to have to be out on this corridor. I got something today, guys, and I just want to run some of these totals. So somebody says it takes, these are the totals they said for 3 months. I want to put these organizations out there, because I'm sure y'all probably heard of them. And if you did, just let me know. You got the St. Ambrose Housing Center. You got the Women's Housing Center. You got Associated Catholic Charities.